And we begin with the devastating flood in Niger State, where the federal government has expressed deep sorrow over the incident in Mukwa, which has claimed several lives and displaced hundreds of families. The death toll from the devastating floods has risen, while emergency officials say at least 115 people have been confirmed dead as at the last count, with many more still unaccounted for. Officials say the flooding followed hundreds of hours of torrential rain Wednesday night, submerging more than 50 homes in the market. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu, in a message relayed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has directed all emergency and security agencies to intensify search and rescue operations. The government commended the bravery of first responders and volunteers risking their lives during the rescue efforts. Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency has delivered essential relief items to provide immediate succor to those displaced by the disaster in Mukwa. This was disclosed by the Director General of NEMA. The relief intervention, according to the DG, is part of a swift and comprehensive response by NEMA to the unprecedented flood, which has tragically claimed over 100 lives, damaged homes, and affected livelihoods. Umar, that's the DG, noted that based on an on-site assessment conducted on Friday by the NEMA team that is led by the DG, no fewer than 100 bodies have so far been recovered as search and rescue operations continue. Away from the tragic flood, let's discuss President Bola Tinubu's stewardship. As President Bola Tinubu clocks 2 years in office, the milestone invites a reflection on the administration's security journey, the challenges and the achievement realized. News Center's Iwelani Yomoni reports.
I forgot to mention, this is Mohammed.
The handover of this child, Mohammed, to the Borno state government and the reunion of a mother, Alice, with a family reflect two stark realities of the current security situation in the country, particularly the north. The first reflects the current level of insecurity that captures Alice's experiences, which entailed kidnapping, torture, and the birthing of a child in captivity. Despite President Tinubu's promise of tackling insecurity upon assumption of office in May 29, 2023, Alice's experience, like many others, tells a different story.
They are not people that, we can just, I don't know just what to say.
When you talk about the resilience, you look at these beautiful daughters who have stood firm with courage and resilience to come out of the bush after over 6 years of being kept in captivity.
It's not an easy task.
The second part reflects Alice's rescue and the joy of reuniting with a family, which was made possible by the harmonized effort of security agencies and government initiatives.
We give them kudos and we pray that God will continue to strengthen them and give them victory over these terrorists.
If you see them on the road, you won't know they're even coming out of Sambisa, and that is because of the care they were given by the military. We'll continue with giving them mental health and psychosocial support. We'll provide for their welfare and also begin the process of tracing their families for final reintegration to their communities.
The administration claims that troops have neutralized over 8,000 terrorists and bandits, arrested 11,600 criminals, and recovered over 10,000 weapons.
As we speak, our troops are out there in Sambisa, in Timbuktu, doing operations as we go on, as we speak now. Not only here in the northwest, north central, efforts are being made to ensure that Nigeria is safe and secure, in line with the mandate of Mr. President.
While some praise the administration's efforts, others criticize the effectiveness of the strategies employed to tackle the security challenges.
Other issues, I think the previous government had did well, and even the late government of Tinubu is also doing well, but I think there are negligence. But I think the issues of politicizing security issues and insurgency, which has to do with life and death, I think is very wrong. Any person with a well-thinking brain should not connect politics and insecurity.
As President Tinubu's administration marks its second anniversary, security remains a critical issue, and experts advocate the adoption of a holistic approach, one that involves all segments of society to combat challenges. In Lagos 4 News Central, Igbalani Omoni.
Now joining us to discuss more on this is the press secretary of SDP in Kogi State, Isaiah Ijile. Isaiah, many thanks for joining us. I appreciate you for coming on. Let's start with your honest assessment of President Tinubu's second years in office.
And thank you once again for having me this afternoon. Without being told, even by the president's speech a few days ago, he admitted the hardship and the suffering of Nigerians. He said it himself. What does that tell you? Means that, yes, there is problem in our land. Nigeria, after how many years of independence? 2000, we have the democracy. And are we truly in democracy? First of all, let's start from that. The democracy, President Bola Tinubu, let me say this once again. He is the most traveled and one of the most exposed presidents we ever had in Nigeria. This is the president that, those days he was called Chicago boy, to London boy, England boy. What does that tell you? This guy understands what we call good governance. He has experienced it, he has lived it, enjoyed it, and even have properties in those places. But at the end of the day, opportunity is given to him to replicate the same thing in Nigeria, and here we are with another season of promises. And it is very disheartening that instead of now for the ministers, the cabinets, and the government officials to focus their attention on governance, they are rather, all you see now is about 2027. We are still in 2025, for goodness sake. You have admitted that the 2 years you agree that there is hardship. You agree that there is problem. Why not fix the problem before talking about 2027? Because without fixing these two years, trust me, either we'll start eating ourselves on the road, or Nigeria will start devouring anything they see on the road as food. Because the level of hunger, poverty, malnutrition of children, it is alarming. It's skyrocketing every day. The inflation on food supplies is nothing to write home about. So what exactly, no matter the transformation, no matter the infrastructure development, if this does not affect and does not affect the life of a common man on the streets, and we cannot afford food, Gary is no longer the food of the common man. It's not the food of the big man. How do the poor men now eat? If Gary is now is very expensive in the market, let's talk about rice. What even about tomatoes? I saw some few days about four bulbs of tomatoes for 2,000 thereabout. And we are talking about 2027. Are you kidding me? Who is advising this government? Why are they not focusing on the problem?
Right. I mean, as we're talking about, the problems, or should I say the living realities of Nigerians, I mean, you've already just reeled out how the economy is biting hard on the purchasing powers of Nigerians. But President Tinubu has said that, he removed fuel subsidy and he devalued the naira for the sake of Nigerians, and that it's only a short period of time until we actually start to reap the benefits of that. Who would you say is actually reaping that benefit, or the benefit that we're yet to see? Is it going to be the rich, the poor, or the government?
It's at the expense of the poor. The rich, the government officials, somebody like Tinubu and all the cabinet, they have been living on government expenses. They have been living on our money. They have been buying fuel with a fuel allowance. The subsidy we are talking about supposed to have been removed since 2012. Do you forget when Jonathan started fuel subsidy? When Jonathan was crying hard. You see, the same people at the corridors of power today were the one who told Nigerians that there is nothing like subsidy, that it is a scam, and that Jonathan wants to impose hardship on Nigeria. And one of the common slogans there is, deal with the cabals and not Nigerians. Deal with the cabals and not Nigerians. But today, they are dealing with Nigerians, not the cabals in government, not the people stealing that subsidy, not the people converting the subsidy to their personal enrichment. So it is crystal clear that the removal of subsidy supposed to have been done years ago, when the naira is even about 150 or 100 and something thereabout. Now you are removing it when naira is already 1,500 to 2,000. How? What are the adequate provisions to cater for the removal? You can't just say, let's remove subsidy without a provision. Yes, we agree, everyone agrees that subsidy must go. This is the same people that had the subsidy, that told Nigeria that subsidy must not go. In fact, I remembered one of President Buhari interview. He said there is nothing like subsidy. It's a scam. And today, the same people came, they said there is subsidy. Remove it, they refuse. Now you are removing it when things are so hard. And the poor are now suffering at the detriment of the poor people, at the detriment of the... In fact, there is nothing called average Nigeria again, because the level of poverty, a millionaire in the midst of 10 people is nothing as a poor man, as a poor woman. Because help 10 people with 100,000, you are gone. 50,000, there is nothing left. So everybody is living in abject poverty except those in government. And why would they remove subsidy without provision?
Right.
Now, let's come to you said that they told us that when they remove it, it's just a temporary hardship. Is there anything that have gone up and come down in this country? Until I want you to remind me, if you know one, nothing has gone up and come down, because the government made it in such a way that they want to be holding the citizen captive by their own policies that will make them control the citizen. And that is what they are doing, to control you again and give you promises ahead of 2027. What promises are they going to give Nigeria that we have not had? You see, they expected people to go to university for 4 years and become a graduate, and expect you to be expert and be a professional. Yet this is 10 years of APC. They are still promising Nigeria. Tell me, are they telling us that they cannot fix Nigeria within 6 years, 4 years, 10 years, and you are promising us nothing is improving? In fact, I want to say the soup way money. At least preparation, you should know that we have a better Nigeria.
Right,
there is a way forward.
Right, just a second, right? Before I go to my next question, and 2 years into this administration, we see the realities that is on ground. But should we not at least give some sort of leeway to the presidency or this administration, and say that they have had to make tough choices, when it comes to the economy?
What choice? Ask yourself.
Because the fuel subsidy was the way it was touted by critics, they were saying that the fuel subsidy was a cost that the Nigerian government cannot continue to pay. They said that unification of the naira, devaluing the naira, was a pain that the government, one way or the other, have to bear sooner or later for the sake of our economy in the future. So can we not give them some sort of credit for taking or biting the bullet where some administration would not have been able to do that?
What credit? Credit for enriching some certain people, for enriching the government cause at the detriment of the poor masses? How many of them are their children traveling by road from Lokoja to Abuja? Just within that 1.5 hour thereabout. How many of these people that their children are traveling from Borno State to Port Harcourt, from Lagos to Abuja? So who are the people suffering it? It's still the poor masses. So whatsoever, any policy get this right, I don't care, and I am not ready to know whatever policies or either short or long term. As long as it does not increase and enhance the good living of Nigerians, it is bad and evil. You cannot remove subsidy without a provision. What is the provision? That is what we are talking. I'm talking about the provision before the removal of subsidy. What are the options on the table to ease the suffering and the problem on the masses? What have they put in place to ease the increment of the food prices in the market? What have they done to subdue the inflation of foods, of goods and services? What have they put in place? You come on May 29 and say subsidy is gone. Hey, and people are clapping for you. What does it have to do with the life of the common man on the street? Whatsoever policy, see, America introduced policies that enhance and better the life of their citizens. There is no excuses. In fact, as a businessman, in my own company policy, there is nothing like a failure. There is no excuse, no excuses to any form of failure. Why? Because you have options. Deal with 8 to 10, 1 to 10 and win. You must count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 options that will ease your pain. So you understand that I cannot fail with 10 options, even 5 options. This government removes subsidy without options. They remove subsidy without an adequate provision for the citizen. And that is the problem. So there is no complement of whatsoever because we are suffering as a result of that removal. Full stop.
I mean, some organizations representing different regions say the president has failed, like you have. Whether it's oppositions, whether it's social, the corporate, civil society groups, they've all said the president has failed, right? Only political figures seem to be aligning with him. What must we do right to make things better for the people? What can opposition do? What are the solutions that you prefer as an opposition for the government that can make things right and better for the people of Nigeria?
When Jonathan removed the subsidy in 2012, these same people were in opposition and they Ignite Nigeria and all Nigerians took to the street. I'm sure until you were on the street there too, and said subsidy must not go. Keep the cabals, don't kill Nigerians. We have a weak opposition today, and thank God for SDP, and thank God for the new coalition they are forming. Let's see what that will lead us to. As far as I'm concerned, the same government have been infiltrated. They know the game. And they know these are masters of the game. So what they do is to infiltrate in all the political parties, decimate them, disorganize them, so they don't have a front opposition. And it is only few of us that are coming to speak out. Now, thank God for SDP, who are part of the leading coalition. But listen to this. We must hold this government accountable. Nigeria must be speaking up. There is nothing we can do. If we want to start protests today, they will be ruthless against Nigeria. So what should we do? Even you people, journalists, should help Nigeria and keep crying. The only thing is we have to do is to ignore them and to tell them to their face that they have failed and they are not helping Nigerians, and Nigerians are dying on daily basis as a result of hardship. I'm telling you this, quote me, hardship. The numbers of people dying as a result of poverty, have you seen the level of suicide that Nigerians are committing daily in this country as a result of what? Poverty. Result of inability to feed their family.
All right.
You know what it means for a man to look at his children, the wife,
right.
and everyone not making provision. You cannot provide for them.
All right.
Definitely. And that is the problem. See,
right.
Until this government buys the citizen.
All right.
Until at about 2027.
All right.
Let them now. Nigeria are crying for now. We don't want to know about 2027.
I wish we can continue, but here's where we have to draw the curtains. And I think that You've made very solid arguments for the sake of Nigerians and also been a voice who speaks true to power as opposition. I must say thank you. Azaya Ijele, he is the publicist, press secretary for the SDP Kogi chapter. Once again, many thanks for coming on. We appreciate you for doing this with us. You're still watching news now on News Central Television. Let's go on a short break, shall we? When we return, Tinubu set to commission section of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway and other key projects. We'll tell you all about this and more just after the break. Stay with us. And you're welcome back. In the meantime, we switch gears to central Nigeria, where Governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mofwang, has called on the people of the state to join hands to lift Plateau State to a higher level, irrespective of social-cultural differences and backgrounds. The governor, speaking at the Thanksgiving service to mark the second year of his administration, says with one voice and unity of purpose, Plateau will rise again. News Central's Chizoba Anyonwe completes the report.
Sons and daughters of Plateau State converged on the popular polo field in Jos, the state capital, to join the governor and his entourage in celebrating his second year in office at a Thanksgiving service with songs of praise. The governor is optimistic that Plateau State will be great again.
I want to thank you, the people of Plateau State, for not only giving me the trust, for not only entrusting me with the responsibility of watching over this state. Plateau must be united. From this day forward, we will continue to be our brother's keeper, irrespective of tribe or tongue, irrespective of denomination. We will continue to march on together, irrespective of the boundaries of faith. We will continue to hold one another together until God takes us to the promised land.
Dignitaries at the event commended the governor for his achievements so far and called for support for a greater state.
The weight of responsibility on the leadership is so heavy that it cannot be achieved by one person. God in his infinite mercy will give us the wisdom to cooperate with his elected officials.
We are not unaware of the fact that the security challenges are hurdles on your way. Our desire is to work with government to ensure a unified Plateau State where peace and progress will be our lot.
Do not abate your efforts. Continue to escalate the good work that the whole nation of Nigeria will see Plateau, which is like a city built on the hill. And everybody will be praising God for your sake.
The day ended with a banquet where some former governors, ministers, and National Assembly members, including traditional rulers, were in attendance to celebrate with the governor. In Plateau State, for News Central, Chizoba Anyonwe.
The House of Representatives has vowed to investigate both the immediate and remote causes behind the midnight conduct of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination in parts of the country. The chairman of the House Committee on Basic Examination Bodies, Obuku Ofoji, made this known during an interface with officials of the West African Examinations Council at the National Assembly, stressing that Nigerian parents deserve answers as to why their children's safety was put at risk. Representing WAEC at the hearing, Senior Assistant Registrar and Zonal Coordinator Ambrose Okelezu, he informed the committee that the head of WAEC Nigeria could not attend due to an emergency meeting with the registrar and other heads of national offices. His explanation, however, was met with strong rejection from committee members. And now to security matters. The Defense Headquarters has described a recent report by Amnesty International as lacking contextual depth and failing to acknowledge the significant achievements of the Nigerian armed forces. In a report on Wednesday, Amnesty International had accused the Nigerian government over its failure to protect citizens from relentless attacks by armed groups and bandits. The human rights organization added that at least 10,217 people have been killed and 672 villages sacked in the past 2 years, noting that Benue State recorded the highest number of deaths with 6,896 people killed, followed by Plateau State with 2,630 deaths. The DHQ, in a rebuttal by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kangi, he expressed concern over what it called sweeping generalizations and unverified statistics in Amnesty's report. A popular native doctor, Levi Obieze, also known as Idesho, who was apprehended while attempting to flee the country, is now in police custody and facing serious charges related to kidnapping and ritual killings. The suspect was handed over by officials or officers of the Nigeria Immigration Services and has been transported to Enugu. News Central's lead correspondent Bernard Akede reports.
As the saying goes, another one bites the dust. Popular native doctor Levi Obieze, widely known as Idesho, was intercepted by operatives of the Nigeria Immigration Service while allegedly attempting to flee the country on a motorbike.
The suspect, a native of Umahi village in Iziagu community in Lagos State, is wanted by the police Enugu State Command for alleged involvement in the abduction of a 30-year-old girl and ritual killings. He was identified via a National Identity Management Commission card slip that was found on him, and he has made self-incriminating statement during profiling.
Obieze, who has been on the radar for crimes connected to kidnapping and ritual killings, was immediately handed over to the Lagos State Police Command. Items found in his possession include an ATM card, 2 smart mobile phones, and the sum of 70,000 naira in cash.
I want to start by saying we are glad that the effective synergy between the Nigerian Police Force and the Immigration Service is working, and we are taking it to higher level. And this was informed the handing over of this principal suspect to us today. The suspect is Levi Obieze, who is wanted by the Enugu State Police Command for injustice crimes and capital offences that he has committed. And this tends to show that we are on the same page and trying to sanitize the country of criminality and other injustice crimes.
Speaking to journalists, both the acting zonal coordinator of the Nigeria Immigration Service and the Lagos State Commissioner of Police assured the public that the rule of law will prevail and urged Nigerians to support security agencies in the fight against crime.
Gentlemen of the press, I want you to know that intelligence could be gotten from even the pages of the social media or the newspaper. If you have active intelligence or actionable intelligence and they are properly disseminated to Nigeria Immigration Service, you could be sure that our officers are vigilant and they are proactive. They will be put on notice, and if you have such a person declared wanted, you can be assured that such a person will be apprehended.
That is not the first time that we have this level of cooperation and synergy. In fact, for so many cases that we have worked together on, the Nigerian Police Force and Immigration have been able to bring back to this country, or arrest them before they get out of the country, of wanted suspects across the country. And we continue to strengthen this cooperation to ensure that anybody that committed crime anywhere in this country are apprehended before they get out of the country, or where they are getting out to work on this necessity synergy to get them back into the country for investigation and prosecution. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The handover and subsequent transfer of Obieze to the Enugu State Police Command marks another collaborative success among Nigeria's security agencies. The hope for Nigerians now is that justice will prevail in this case. In Lagos for News Central, Bernard Akide.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the commissioning of the completed section of Phase 1, Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, scheduled to hold on Saturday, May 31st, 2025, at Kilometer 8, Jakande Estate axis in Lagos State. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, who secured the President's approval, will lead the official ceremony. The President is also expected to virtually inaugurate several completed signature projects across southern Nigeria under the Renewed Hope agenda. The Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, first conceived 27 years ago, is one of 4 Renewed Hope legacy projects. The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies is raising concerns over what it describes as attempts by some lawmakers in the House of Representatives to undermine its operations. Speaking at a symposium to mark its 6th year in office, the Director General of the Institute, Abubakar Suleiman, alleged that certain members of the House had established parallel structures performing similar roles as the Institute. He described the move as wasteful, especially at a time when Nigerians are calling for a reduction in the cost of governance, and called on the leadership of both chambers of the National Assembly to intervene.
I've said it on several occasions. The President of the Deputy Speaker, and I've told the Speaker, that the cabal within House of Rep that are trying to undermine this institute, they must get rid of them for this to survive. That's the best way to do it. And that remains a better.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has called on members of opposition political parties in the country to commend the achievements of President Bola Tinubu, especially in the provision of infrastructure around the country. Wike, while speaking to newsmen in Abuja during the inspection of renovated and newly constructed infrastructural projects slated for commissioning to mark President Bola Tinubu's 2nd year anniversary, says that the president has done tremendously well and deserves the support of all citizens, even in opposition political parties. He described criticism of the president by members from the opposition as unfair and uncalled for.
To all of us who are critics that Abuja has not been working and Abuja is working, who has made it to work? It's Mr. President. Even if you don't like somebody as a person, but when he does the good thing, say, look, yes, I'm not in good terms with him, I don't like him, however, he's doing well, or he has done well. Opposition does not necessarily mean anything good he says bad. Mr. President has done tremendously well. And that's why you see every nook and corner of this country, everybody said, look, give him that opportunity again, and the next for 2 years, 4 years, you'll see what is going to happen. So I am quite happy with the achievement Mr. President has recorded, particularly as it concerns the Federal Capital Territory. It had never happened before.
Other communities in Imo State are calling on President Bola Tinubu to intervene in what they describe as the unlawful military occupation of their ancestral farmlands. Residents of the Mbaishi autonomous communities in Ngor, Okmala local government area allege that armed security personnel have laid siege to more than 30,000 hectares of farmland for nearly a year. News Central's correspondent Joshua Marayi reports from Abuja. Take a look.
Spokespersons of the Imbishi autonomous communities gathered in Abuja decrying what they called the militarization and occupation of their farmlands by Nigerian security operatives. According to community leader Ugo Jim Nwoko, the siege began 9 months ago, with villagers restricted from accessing over 30,000 hectares of farmland. He traces the origin of the dispute to 2006, when a previous state government attempted to acquire part of the land for a Chinese village project, now abandoned.
We do recall that sometime in 2006, the Imo State government under Governor Chiku Udenwa had indicated interest in compulsorily acquiring about 2,000 hectares of land for a certain Chinese village. But the move was aborted following the insincerity of the handlers of the so-called acquisition and the consequential widespread opposition and multiple litigations by indigenous landowners and all other stakeholders against the perceived fraudulent acquisition.
Court judgments were later secured by 2 of the affected villages, nullifying the acquisition and restraining any further encroachment. However, the community claims those rulings have been ignored by the current administration.
While we were expecting to enjoy bountiful harvest from our 2024 farming season and also commence our 2025 farming season, our hopes were high and they were dashed with depression as we saw massive deployment of men of Nigerian military, police and other security agencies on the instruction of Imo State government from the beginning of 2025, destroying our farmlands and their yields.
They further allege that the disputed land has now been allocated to Zion Ministry Church for the construction of a religious center and industrial facility without their consent. The spokesperson said the heavy presence of armed personnel has created an atmosphere of fear, forcing many to abandon their ancestral homes.
We state further that ever since the deployment of the military, police, and other security personnel, our indigents have been intimidated and cowed, thereby giving Imo State government and the Zion Ministry the latitude to encroach on our farmlands, destroying all economic trees and other crops, which are the main economic sustenance of our agrarian economy.
While insisting they remain law-abiding, the communities are appealing to President Tinubu to withdraw military forces from the area, uphold the court verdicts, and restore access to their lands. In Abuja, for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
And off to North Africa, where hundreds of protesters gathered in Libya's capital for the 3rd consecutive week to call for the resignation of the UN-recognized government of the National Unity, led by Abdulhamid Baiba, amid social discontent and political and security tensions. Libya is split between the UN-recognized government in Tripoli that is led by Baiba and a rival administration in the east controlled by the family of military strongman, and that's Khalifa Haftar. The North African country has remained deeply divided since 2011 NATO-backed revolt that toppled and killed longtime leader Muammar Gaddafi. And off to South Africa, where working together to end violence against children is this year's theme for Child Protection Week, observed from the 25th of May to the 1st of June. The week is commemorated in the country annually to raise awareness of the rights of children as articulated in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa and Children's Act. News Center's Bongani Ziziba looks at the rights of abandoned children and the need to protect them from harm. Take a look.
In a world where innocent lives are often left vulnerable, there exists a beacon of hope, a safe haven for the tiniest among the living. This is the Baby Saver box. Here, when a mother feels she cannot take care of her child, she can simply open this box and place her baby inside. No judgment, no fear, just safety. The alarm immediately alerts trained care worker who responds without delay, and the identity of the mother remains unknown, ensuring her safety and privacy.
This started 1999 where Pastor Cheryl, she used to be a pastor at Baptist Church. She noticed that around this area there were a lot of babies that were being found abandoned. Some were dead from the dustbins and all that. And then she came with a plan to say, let's just I have something just to address this issue, where they installed this baby saver on the wall so that mothers they can just place their baby or abandon their babies safely.
This Baby Saver box has become a beacon of hope for vulnerable mothers and infants alike. Every child who comes through the door of hope is checked, documented, and given the love they deserve. From here, they are blessed into a system designed to protect and nurture them.
So far, I saved 7 babies through a baby saver. And to me, it's important to help the kids because I love the kids and I love to give them love. People, they mustn't be scared to bring the babies if there's some challenges or some difficulties. Those kids, they're saving their lives. They're saving the baby's life. Because if they're bringing them here, it's better than to leave the child out there.
Across South Africa and the world, thousands of babies are abandoned each year. Many left in dustbins, open field, or toilets, desperate for a second chance. The Door of Hope offers a safe alternative to unsafe and tragic abandonment, but despite life-saving mission, challenges always arise.
Baby abandonment is almost an epidemic in South Africa. There are no formal stats that is held by Stats SA or the government, because a baby that is found abandoned, that has died, it is categorized under concealment of birth. So there are no actual stats about baby abandonment in South Africa.
But for those who wish to give these young ones a home and love, measures hinder adoption processes. According to Baby Saver South Africa, more than 10,000 babies are abandoned each year. Yet, there are concerns about the future of these life-saving organizations. However, the Department of Social Welfare advocates mothers to drop babies at police stations or health care centers, disputing some numbers reported by private organizations.
You give birth at hospitals, you can leave your child there. You can leave your child at any Department of Social Development offices across the country. You can leave your child at any police station, because even the police have their mandate on the Children's Act. They have their national instructions.
While challenges remain, the hope persists. Somewhere out there is a child awaits a safe, loving home, and most importantly, a second chance. In Johannesburg for News Central, Wongani Siziba.
The Women's International friendly between Nigeria's Super Falcons and Cameroon's indomitable Lionesses has been reduced to a single-leg tie, now set for Monday, 2nd of June at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta. Initially planned as a 2-game series, the fixture was altered due to travel delays affecting Cameroon's arrival. The 24-player Cameroonian squad, including both local and overseas stars, will land in Lagos on Saturday and head to Ijebu-Ode. The match remains vital to Nigeria's preparation for the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, where they chase a 10th title. For Cameroon, it marks the start for rebuilding after missing WAFCON for the first time. Nigeria leads the rivalry with 14 wins from 20 clashes. And waters increased at 14 to 15. Well, that's all we can take at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Federal government has mourned victims of Niger flood and launched relief efforts to displaced victims. And House of Reps has rejected WAEC delegation following midnight exams and insisted on meeting head of national office. And we also told you that hundreds of protesters in Libya are calling on Prime Minister Beiba to quit in third weekly march. Now, do remember that you can send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number now showing on the screen. Make sure to follow us on social media as well. We're at News Central TV on all social media platforms. You can now watch News Central live on 5 platforms. First is DSTV channel 422. The second and most important is GoTV channel 23. It's quite new, by the way. Find us on Star Times as well, channel 274. We're also on Avo TV, and you can stream us live 24/7 on YouTube. And that means you can take us everywhere you go. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith, the TV. Goodbye.